Okay, I'm here. Okay, hello lovely, Suzuki Takeda. Today we are probably finishing the donut tutorial.
And I'm live now too. Hey everybody. Hello lurkers. Oh, I should probably view my own video too, huh? That might help.
Yep. We have parts 12 and 13, and then 14 is just some 11-minute, I don't even know what. I've got a feeling it's not much of anything. It's probably...
An advertisement.
there's probably that in there too, but I'm thinking like maybe just some final thoughts or something.
Oh, okay.
Probably. I'm guessing. I don't know. It's only one way to find out.
Yep, that's true.
Where? Oh, I guess I don't actually have it selected.
Or more specific.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
This is apparently the part where we animate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I gotta watch that, don't I? Yep, I do. Okay.
I don't think there was anything. I don't think there was anything that I was like, screw it, I'll get to that later. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think we are pretty much caught up with everything.
Yeah. I suppose I technically could have put those could have put the plant and the furniture. I think that was...
That's just extra shit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was free, and it probably would help with the final image, like, you know, how it looks, like the blend, that blur, but whatever.
It would only really affect, you know, the bouncing.
It'll look...
Because, like, light comes in, bounces off of the plant, and then some of it is green, and that's really the only...
What I meant is, like, I think it, like, probably makes the image look a bit nicer and emphasizes the blur. That's what I meant to say. Emphasizes it. But probably.
Okay.
But
I got you.
I'm just not gonna lose sleep over it.
Yeah. We got some fucking donuts.
Yep. Theater mode, and I'm gonna hit play.
It's time to learn about animation, or more specifically, keyframe animation, because character animation with its rigs and bones and things is its own entire separate beast we're not going to get into.
Oh, hi,
we're just going to do a very simple camera move. Specifically, we want the camera to start above the donuts and then fall down to reveal the final plate at the end, right? It's an excuse to learn about keyframing. Well, the basics of animation is really simple. If you go to the bottom of your screen, if you're in layout at the top, we can drag up on this divider here, and you can see we've got a timeline, which if I click and drag across, is currently doing nothing because there is no animation. So if we pull out, right? I'm just going to do a really simple animation to show you don't have to follow this because this is a different animation than what we're going to do. Animation is really simple. You select the object that you want to apply a keyframe to, and then you hit I for insert keyframe, and you get this like scary looking menu. Apparently they're going to change this eventually, but for now you would place a keyframe on what it is you're planning to animate. So in this case, it's the location, right? So I want to move the camera, location. Then I change my frame count to be the frame I want it to end at. Then I move the object how I want it to move, right there. And then I add another keyframe, and then...
Just gonna make sure here. So he wants us to move it closer? I guess I don't know. I feel like mine's fine the way it is. Probably just leave it. I don't know if...
say,
oh, well, this is just the demonstration of concepts. We're not going to follow him.
Oh, okay.
And now, as I play it back, which I can do by hitting spacebar, you can see that the camera is moving.
Oh.
Haha, look at us. right? A very simple camera move. Now, I don't actually want that though, so I'm going to delete those keyframes. And what we want is, we want what I showed you at the start. We want our camera to start up here, right? Rotated.
I think you're broadcasting
myself.
You, yeah, over Discord.
Are you not?
Yeah,
seeing the video?
I hear the audio, but I don't.
Oh, but you see me.
I just see what you're doing.
I have no idea how I messed that up. Okay. 1 second here. That's the correct one.
Yeah, there he is. Cool.
Pointing down this way, and then we want it to move in an arc in this direction. Terrible arrow. Pointed this way, right? Now you could do this. You could move the camera up there. You could then re-rotate it to point it down, and then do a keyframe for the location, the rotation, and then do another one over here. But it would be very difficult to control that movement. And really, this is a rather simple movement if we have a pivot object. If we have something here, and then we parent that camera to that object, and then we just rotate that object.
How does the stream look strange? Glitch. See if he gets back to me on that one.
I've got your stream up.
Does it look strange to you? I have
yeah.
Oh, actually, my screen's black, isn't it?
Yeah, you're capturing your own input.
Oh, you know what? That's probably some thing I need to hide.
Yeah, there's something else extra there.
Yeah. The game capture. I had a game capture that was up.
Oh.
I need to separate those panels. I just haven't gotten around to it. Like have one.
Yeah. Digital organization.
Yeah, like I don't know why I'm not making my life easier so that I can literally use my Stream Deck to just hit a button and then it does what I want, you know.
Yeah, it takes time to set up, that's why.
Yeah. It's effort.
It's a lot easier. So what we need to add is, first of all, I want to think, what do I want to be the center of it? What do I want to be, where do I want that pivot object? So I think, somewhere roughly in the middle of these donuts. So right here, I'm going to hold down Shift and then right click, and that's going to put my 3D cursor right where I've put it. And now to add an object, Shift A, and I'm looking for empty. So an empty, if you're familiar with other creative tools, you probably already know, but it's just something, it's similar to a null object in After Effects, etc. It's just something that's going to be in the 3D viewport that won't be rendered.
That makes sense, yeah.
A number of options here. It doesn't matter which one you choose. You can go plain axes, and then if you went to the options here, the data, you could change the display here to what we saw before. But this is just like a different display object, right? Depending on what you're looking for. I think the sphere is actually the most useful. It's way too big currently, so I'm going to change the size to be something about that. And there we go. Okay, so
I'm not sure
now what we
menu
need to do is we want to parent our camera.
It just comes up when you bring in the object, quote unquote object.
Yeah, I just
for me it defaulted to that menu. Display as. It says display as, and then you can pick the size.
You're talking about the tool window in the bottom right?
Yeah.
Tool window.
Data is the name of the column. It's like way at the bottom. It's like a.
Oh, let me take a look at what you
It's like a green Y. I think it's actually meant to. Actually, I think it's just meant to.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. God. Okay, cool. I can change the size. All right. What are we doing next?
to this new empty object. So select the camera first, then shift select that new empty that we've just created, and then I'm going to hit Control P and then set parent object keep transform, just like what we did with the icing and the donut.
Okay.
Hold on. Separate. Okay, so select the camera, then shift select the empty, and then what did he say? Oh shit, hold on.
We're parenting it.
How did he?
It's Control P, right? Oh my god. Yeah, Control P. Set parent to object keep transform.
Keep transform. Okay. Okay, cool. I think I got it.
There's a part after that, wasn't there? Oh,
I didn't see anything when I did it.
So now you should see, if you select that empty, and as I rotate it around, the camera will rotate with it. And if you
just double check that. Oh, that's not right. The whole room moved with the camera. What the heck? Oh, there we go.
Wait a minute.
That didn't work.
It didn't.
I'm assuming he pressed R to rotate, right? Maybe not.
No, I think he just grabbed and moved it.
It is working. It is working. I lied. It's working. I had to rotate the sphere, and then when I rotate the sphere, now the camera's rotating with it.
Sphere? The empty?
Yeah, the empty.
Okay, hold on. Oh, that's what he's talking. Oh.
Might actually. Right. I might actually have to move my camera a bit closer. Yeah, I gotta move that in a bit. That works. I think. Does that work? Whatever makes it not going through the wall anymore. Shoot. It didn't work. How do I move this now? G? There we go. Okay. I think I'm good now, probably. Double check it. Just double checking everything. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm gonna hit play.
You walk through the camera with numpad 0, and then just double tap R. You can see that I can trackball rotate around it. And you can see this is like way more flexible for what we want. We want the camera to be focused on one point, and then we just want to move the camera around that point. And you can do some really nice, fast camera moves here if you wanted to do something snazzy. In our case, we're going to do a nice, simple, slow movement. So first of all, this angle, this look that we've got right here is where we want the final reveal to be. So this is where I want the end point, the end keyframe of my animation to be. So you can make your animation as long as you want. I think about 160 frames is about right for this sort of the speed of this animation. So on frame 160 there, you can see it's also mentioned there. I'm going to, with my empty selected, not my camera, I'm going to hit I, and then not select location like I did before, but rotation, because we're going to be just rotating that pivot point, not changing its position. So rotation, then I'm going to...
I looked down for a second. Let me go back.
I rotation.
Oh, it was just I in rotation? Okay.
I'm going to, with my empty selected, not my camera, I'm going to hit I, and then not select location like I did before, but rotation, because we're going to be just rotating that pivot point, not changing its position. So rotation, then I'm going to go to the first frame, which I could do by clicking and dragging, or shift left arrow will jump you to the first frame, or you can click these little, I don't know what you call that button, jump to end point.
Let me just do that. I rotation. You just hit I in rotation, that's it.
You can do that as well. And now that I'm here, I'm going to rotate this along not the tilt axis, which it is by default, but the X axis. Aha, right. So now you can see we are doing that exact move we want. And in the top left-hand corner, you can see the exact number of degrees. And I'm going to go with exactly minus 90. So if you hold down Control, you can see it's snapping to minus 90. And then I'm going to click. Okay, now before I change my frame, if I was to change the frame, you can see it's just snapped me back to where I were. So
you got to rotate it to the top for frame 1.
Yep, X rotation of 90 degrees or minus 90, depending on how your scene is set up on, whatever. But yeah.
X, yep. X or not X, because wait, no, there we go. I suppose my cursor's a bit off. Could at least tell it to start there.
And then you can hold Control down while you're rotating to get it to snap to 5 degrees.
Oh.
I think is what it is.
Yeah, that's what he said. It's definitely snapping, but I can't tell 5 degrees, whatever. As long as I get the hint. I don't think it really matters that I'm exactly at 5 degrees.
Well, yeah, 90 degrees. God.
Oh.
Either 90 or negative 90, depending on how your scene is up.
Okay. Gotta change where my empty is. It's not.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, that's easy. It actually moves the camera with, so yeah, that makes it even easier actually. There we go. Now it's centered. I believe. Should be good. I'm gonna hit the button.
Mind the plate. Snapping.
Is it Control?
There used to be a way to snap to, like, the center point of an object.
I'm trying to think if that's something he covered. I don't think so.
Oh, well.
I figure wherever's good.
Okay. I'm ready now. I
okay.
think, yeah.
Always remember, you have to create a keyframe if you've changed its movement without saving it or without putting in a new keyframe. So back up to here, minus 90, and I'm going to hit I and then say rotation. Okay, and now we should see, if we hit spacebar to play, a very, very simple animation.
Where's my camera?
Okay, now we can tweak this though.
Whoa.
I rotation.
What the heck? What the fuck? Oh, shit.
Yep, that's indeed working. Oh, and it's still going into the wall. It also didn't stop at 160. Kind of weird.
Back to the...
I suppose I should see how it looks rendered too.
Change. Rotate.
I'm scared to render it.
What's that frame 160 then? This. Oh god.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going. I don't know how it got bigger.
Rotate. Okay, so now we have to put another keyframe in, right? So I rotation.
Let's try this now. Oh, that's...
If I remember correctly. And then if we go, yep. Okay, so my keyframes are working.
Guess I want the object right there, then.
Cool. All right.
Hello, Kelsey. We're finishing a donut tutorial today in Blender. We're learning Blender, how to 3D model.
Yep, we're doing some animations.
This is my roommate, Technus.
Hey.
See now. Sit still. It's still going through the wall. So the second I hit animate, I think my camera, I think I'm fixing my camera, but I'm apparently not because it's just resetting back to where it was. Think what?
Oh, well, I think when you were trying to, oh goodness. Why is your camera?
It's just super far out. I mean, I could technically just increase how far the wall goes back. That would also solve the problem.
Well, the tool, the orange lines, it's huge.
Yeah.
Well. Anyway,
the camera's
not entire.
Oh, are you talking about the range of the camera too? Because yeah, I had considered.
I think the camera starts at that back point, and then the projection is genuinely it's not like a mechanical part. It's just showing where the camera lens
is. It's just a visual representation.
I think so. Yeah. So I was like, oh gosh, that's huge.
Yeah.
Just this massive camera.
I think I just need to move the camera closer, or the wall farther back. Either or. Your field of view focal length is making it super wide.
Go into X-ray mode. Oh, making it super wide. Okay, so that does affect how it views then. Okay. I forget what the tool control is for that.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me try.
I don't know. I don't remember how to change the cell here. Depth of field, aperture. That probably would. No, that's aperture wouldn't do it.
It might. I don't know.
It said the tooltip is lower numbers give more defocus, higher numbers give a sharper image, which sounds about right, like a real camera. You can change it by changing the. Oh, well, there you go. Okay, I guess that was correct.
You found it. You found.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Focal length value. Oh, okay. So that is the focal length. I
probably shouldn't have done that so haphazardly.
Camera. Focal length.
It's not visibly getting closer.
That's the one. Okay. So if you have the camera selected.
No, not the depth of field. Focal length.
Yeah, it's in the lens submenu.
Oh.
If you have.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay. Oh yeah, that's.
And then the focal length, yeah.
So that's supposed to make it closer?
Yeah, I think it does, yeah.
Oh shoot. Well, I could try it.
Drop that to whoa, what you doing?
I could just try it.
Yeah, okay. Forgot that.
Still going through the wall.
All right, so that means it does clip through. So as it rotates, it is clipping through the wall.
It's not any closer. It did bring in the range of it. You want to make it close, easier to understand. You can change that from millimeter to field of view. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, it's a degree. Yep. Okay. That probably would make it easier. And now the camera's. Move the camera in. Oh, so now I can move it in?
Mm-hmm.
I can literally just. Because I tried doing that and it kept resetting, but maybe it's because of that.
I think it's because
It's because of the field of view.
I think it's because as you're moving it, you're grabbing it and dragging it, but you're not locking it to an axis.
I think it's because it's parented to the empty, and it keeps resetting. That's my guess. I don't know. Oh, if it's resetting, it's because of the keyframes. Oh, yeah, I need to do the eye thing again. Yeah, the eye rotate.
Yeah, and the parenting only affected the transform. It wouldn't have affected its positional value.
So now I keep it at frame 1 and then eye rotation, and now it should reset the camera.
Yeah, check it out.
No, it reset the camera.
Yeah, that's where it goes through the wall. Okay, so
and you'll need to reinsert the keyframe. Yeah, which I thought I did, and then I guess I didn't because it's.
All right, then go back to.
Oh my god! You know what? The keyframe at 160.
Huh?
I reset the keyframe at frame 1, not frame 60. Okay, so.
And then
eye rotation. I'm getting there. I'm getting it. I just gotta.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. It's like, do we need to reset the keyframe, really?
You know what I'm doing? No, you know. No.
I don't know.
Okay, no, I know. Okay. Gotta bring the camera in. And then click on this thing. And then eye rotation. And then rotate the empty. Stop doing that. I want to see if this fixes it before I check chat again. I just want to see if I got it. I did not get it. Are you serious?
You just did it over keyframe 160, and you're starting from keyframe 160 instead of there. So
you're moving the camera and keyframing the rotation instead of the location. Well, yeah, wasn't it supposed to keyframe the rotation? Apparently not.
You have to keyframe location as well with that manual movement.
Okay. So we'll do rotation and location.
Yeah.
And then
you go to keyframe 160.
Sphere. Oh yeah, keyframe 160. And rotate the sphere.
Mm-hmm.
And then do these.
And then, yep.
And try it again.
I think at this point the keyframe location is not necessary, but...
Oh, it's working. It's working.
Sweet.
Okay, that did it.
There
all right.
It is.
Okay. Sweet. Can press play now.
We can improve this because you can see that, for one, it's a little awkward that the camera starts in a completely stationary stop position, then it ramps up, and then it slows down towards the end. It's a little bit of a weird camera move. What I want instead is I want it to start, I already want it to be moving, right? Like almost like it's from another shot that's kind of faded into this one. I want it to start moving and then to much more slowly fade it out than it is currently, because you can see it just kind of like drops down here and then the camera just stops and it's a little too sudden. And while you could change the keyframes here, like you can do some very simple handle type changes, this view, this layout view is not the best place to do this. So instead, if you go to the animation tab at the top there, you can see it's rearranged all your screens. This over here is just another 3D view. Over here is the camera view. But at the bottom here, you can see we've changed from the timeline, which is what we had before, and it's changed to a dope sheet. So a dope sheet is just going to show you more information about the keyframes. So for example, you can see that the X rotation has a dot over here and a dot over here, but the Y and the Z has a different look. It's got a continuous line across it. And that's to show you that this actually hasn't changed. The Y and the Z has no information that's changed from the start to the end. So we don't actually need these keyframes. So I only need the X rotation. So I'm going to select the Y and the Z, and I'm just going to delete them just by hitting the delete key. So we've now just got one channel.
Okay. Oh. I think I need to see what he deleted again.
The only thing he kept is X Euler rotation.
Okay.
Everything else he got rid of.
Yeah, so I opened mine up finally. I don't know why it took me forever, but my Y and my Z and my Z had like these big yellow lines through them. Is that what he had? I just wanted to see.
Sure. The animation is happening. The Z, and I'm just going to delete them. I only need the X rotation.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to hit... Oh, I got to go back in here.
Okay, cool.
And then delete, and they're gone.
So I'm going to select the Y and the Z, and I'm just going to delete them just by hitting the delete key. So we've now just got one channel that the animation is happening on. Right, but we can't really change it. We can't make it so that this starts faster and then this slows down from this view. Instead, we need to change to a different view. So in the top left-hand corner, click this, and we're going to change the window type to be graph editor. Okay, so the graph editor looks like this. So I'm going to use middle mouse to pan around here. And you can see we've now got a line, right, with some handles on it, which is a lot easier to understand, but it's hard to get it all in the view. So you could hit the home key, and that will automatically reorient everything to position it in the view. Or if you hold down Control and middle mouse button, this enables you to just moving around, just dragging around, Control middle mouse button will change the axes zoom as well as the Y, right, up and down like that. Which is just a really handy way to quickly orient yourself around. So control middle mouse to change this, and then you can middle mouse to pan to a different area. Okay, so again, making sure I'm looking at the X rotation there, right? And if we look, you should see the problem that we have, right? We have the start of the animation. It's a very slow curve that's going up. It picks up speed in the middle, and then it ends here. And the end is a little abrupt considering the amount of movement that it has. So really, we want this line instead to look a little bit closer to this line, right? Or even, I mean, that was kind of a bad line. Pull it rather like that. Okay, that's the kind of look that we want. So with our starting keyframe here,
my graph is different than his.
Let me take a look.
It's like the opposite direction.
Oh, that's weird. It's probably because you're situated in your build space in a different degree. Like maybe instead of facing the Y-axis, you're facing the X-axis.
Maybe.
So could be something like that. X Euler. You've got the X Euler rotation selected, right?
Yep.
No. Wait.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But whatever. I'll just follow anyway.
I'm going to use the same hotkey that you use everywhere, and that's R, to just get that angle to look a lot closer to what I want. Don't go too far up. If you go like vertical, you'll see that the start is like so abrupt. It's almost like it's like skipping down or something. So I don't want it to be that far. I'm going to rotate a little bit out like that. So there's a little bit of a harsh movement, but not too harsh, if you know what I mean. There we go, something like that.
Okay.
Like that. All right.
Said R. It's not doing anything.
Once you have, okay, so you see those handles?
Where?
On the red line, you see there are
yeah, yeah, okay.
You select one of the handles and
I
then
got it.
press
Oh,
the R.
okay, yep.
There you go.
Oh, and then you can press R after.
Yes. You just click it to select it and then press R, yeah.
That's gonna be a really hard stop if I do it like that. And then can I? Oh, and that'll do the whole thing. Can I just there? Oh, if I wanted, I probably shouldn't do that though.
So that first handle that you were working on,
yeah,
make that initial curve the opposite of what it is.
like it should be going up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Down.
So it's convex instead of concave instead of convex.
Oh, okay, yeah, but not all the way. Just a little bit, like that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then this other one, do it like that.
Yeah, match that slope, sort of.
Yeah, we'll see how that looks.
Yeah, and then you can just press on your keyboard home. And that might help you fit in that space.
Oh, it did. It did.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Space. Let's do it again. Maybe? I don't... Does this look like how he wants it?
Yeah, I would say you could probably fuck around with like the camera field of view or the height of the empty. I think if you increase the height of the empty, you'd probably end up with a better camera position as well.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
At the end, at the very least, it wouldn't matter in the beginning. It would probably just only matter at the end.
So let's do the.
Or you could fuck around with the camera's frame of view.
Add location, rotation. Nope, not resize. Do this again. Add location, add rotation. Whoops.
You can even look through the camera while you do the rotation. You just have to lock that rotation with the axis. Oh yeah, the presidential debate is tonight. I'm not going to watch it. I'll laugh at it later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, this is much more entertaining.
Suppose I could see how it looks rendered. It's gonna look like a slideshow in the stream.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Oh, definitely. I never changed anything.
Oh. Well, I think I've got my stuff. Well, I could take a look at it rendered. Why wouldn't I?
I just realized it still has. How does it? It has to render all the samples. How would it do the animation if it has to render all the samples? You probably have to actually render it, do a final render, and that's the only way you can actually watch it, don't you?
Yep.
That sounds about right. That's fine.
I mean, you could do the rotation thing. Yeah.
It is what it is. Oh well.
Or you could just do the small sampling towards. It's whatever.
I think it's fine. Probably. I think it's fine. Maybe like arc that a bit more.
Put some fucking English on it.
You want English? Should I put like some Earl
Yeah,
Grey?
some fucking
some Earl Grey. Should I turn the donuts into biscuits?
Yeah, just
Earl Grey.
Biscuits and throw in like a cup of tea. Fuck no, I need some
crumpets.
tea.
That's what I meant crumpets. Maybe biscuits are good too.
Do you like some crumpets? Biscuits and crumpets and tea. It's okay to make fun of British people. They're imperialists. All right, what?
I think we can
what's
just
the next?
continue. Yeah.
And then for this end bit, you can see it ends rather suddenly. Maybe you disagree, but I found when I looked at the animation, it was rather sudden. So this final endpoint here, I'm going to scale it out by hitting S. So again, same hotkeys work all across Blender, which is very nice. Awesome. Okay. So now if I play it back, you should see it moves rather fast at the beginning and then slowly tapers out towards the end to a nice soft landing, which is really cool. And that's pretty well, yeah, that's a pretty good animation.
Okay.
I tried scaling it in a bad spot. You know what I mean? Like if the pointer's too close to the object in question, when you hit S, it like,
yeah,
it gets all wonky. Let's try that. Yeah, I don't know. Try that. I feel like that might be too sharp.
How do I set like a total like end point for this animation?
Kind of like
set it on loop endlessly.
Oh yeah, right? Like how do you even make it stop? I'm sure he'll show us that. There's got to be a way to like stop the animation instead of having it just keep playing past the desired frame. We'll just keep going.
We could stop here, but the other thing we could do to get a little bit more motion in it is we could have the camera start closer to the donuts and then pull out as it goes further away. I hate that this keeps interrupting. I'm going to hide that. Okay, there we go. Select my pivot. There we go. So essentially, we could have it so that it starts, like the camera starts right about here, and then it pulls out, and then as it pulls out, it goes a little bit further away and like ends back here. So have a think about how you would do that. How would you have...
I already learned on accident how to do that. Yeah, might as well just do that then.
So he wants more distance away from the donuts.
Yep. At the so just have the final frame and hit G, just move it out a bit. I guess. And then actually, you know what I could do? I can make that even smoother. I can hit G and then the X, right? No? No. One of these. There we go. Z twice so that it's doing the Z-axis in relation to the object, and then yeah, it's just pulling it straight out. There we go. And then oh no, not the camera.
Frame I location.
I think rotation would stay the same. To set a frame range for your animation, it's the little printer looking button in your properties menu. Frame range. Oh yeah, right there.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you figured out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember which I'm supposed to delete of this shit now.
There we go. All right, great. Thanks for that.
wait. Oh, so this is the graph editor. Let me take a look. What was that? The default viewport for this. It's not the 3D viewport. Animation. Dope sheet. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, so we've got... Now I've got a bunch of extra... whatever. I don't care. What's next?
Next is me double checking, making sure that this is actually zooming out. I'm not sure it is. Maybe I did it wrong. It's not zooming. I don't think it's zooming out. No, it's definitely not. Try it again. G, Z, Z again. Oh wait, no, not there though. At the 160th frame. G, Z, Z. Left click. I'll just do location and rotation just to make sure it's good. Because that may be where I messed up. I might have only hit location and I thought that'd be okay. Are you moving out? You're moving out. Great.
X.
Switch to O just so I can see it. Yep.
And then I, location, I
did a thing.
Rotation. I'm assuming that's correct. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to fix shit here. That's why. All right.
Okay. You're good?
Me. Yeah, 1 second.
Okay.
GZ, bringing it down in. GX.
So far, this particular task is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it's just a little tedious. That's all. Oops. GY. There. And then I location, I rotation. Huh? Yes, it is doing what it needs to do. Excellent.
Great. What's next, Mr. Donut Man?
Yeah.
The camera start closer to the pivot point, right? Now you might think, well, okay, we could animate the camera pulling in closer, but that would be overly complicated. We can just use the same pivot point, but we can scale it. Because you can see if I hit S, look at that, the camera goes closer. And if I pull it out, you can see the camera moves further away.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to go to the final endpoint here, the frame 160, which by the way, you can jump to an existing keyframe just by using the up and down arrows. So if I go up, you can see it's that keyframe, or down, it takes me to the front.
Okay.
So I want to go here and I want to create a keyframe just for the scale information. So here, because this is the end view that I want, so I'm going to hit I and then say not rotation, but scale. So now I'm going to go to the front of the animation and I'm going to scale it in to get a nice close-up of the donuts right there. And then I'm going to add another keyframe, I, and then scale. So you should now see in your graph editor, that's what it's called, you should see your rotation information and then your scale information. Now you'll note that the scale is like where is the scale information? It's here, but it's so small, like the amount of variance here, it's so small that it's just not readable. And the reason for that is that it's trying to combine two different data types into one view, right? Because rotation is happening on you can see here, I just wrote over the top of it. It's 0 degrees, and then down here you've got -90. So this is a -90, right? But then up here, we've got scale that's happening between a 0 range and a 1 range, which is right next to it, okay? So 1, you could just hide your rotation, or you can click on normalize. And normalize will put everything between a 0 to 1 range. But just know that when you're in this range, if you try to move a keyframe to be a different value, like you took your scale and then you moved it down, when you confirm it, it'll snap back to where it was. And that's because with normalize on, it'll always put everything between 0 to 1. So don't do it if you're planning to change a value of something, normalize, but otherwise it's okay to use for changing the handles, like in this case. But I'm going to hide my rotation anyway, because it's just going to get in the way. And instead you can see that X, Y, and Z all have information in them because of course we're not scaling it on any particular axes. It's across all 3 axes at once because it's like it's the uniform value of scale.
Okay.
So again, I could do the same thing here. I could rotate this. I don't want there to be too much of a difference. Like it's actually pretty good by default. Like the scale isn't as noticeable that it slowly ramps up. And it's good to have like a kind of a softer movement as it pulls away. But I do want to change it a little bit. I'm going to select these final endpoints. I'll scale that out a little bit as well, just so that it's a little softer as it scales out. And that is pretty good, folks. Now you'll note as I play through this that in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you've got FPS, which stands for frames per second. If you play video games, you're already well familiar with that term. And you can see as we play through it, it can't really make up its mind. It's like 24, no, 25, 26, 20, 24. I think it's just a readout glitch in Blender. It's actually a constant 24 frames per second by default, but for whatever reason, it's kind of like fluctuating between them. Anyway, point is you can change that amount.
I've heard that because I've looked a little bit into like videos and stuff like, and you actually like technically the ideal like frame rate is like 24 point, it's like a fraction. It's like 24 or not, I mean a decimal, 24.1 something something something. And
really?
I'm guessing what it's actually doing is it's just like it's not going to display that whole number, so it kind of just doesn't really know where to. That's why it doesn't really know where to sit. I'm guessing. That's just a guess, just based on that one little tidbit about video footage that I know.
By going to your output settings over here, and then underneath format, you've got frame rate. Now, for whatever reason, Blender chose 20.
Oh yeah, what did you pick? Oh yeah, the printer output.
And for the printer,
the thing that we were already in to change the. Oh yeah, right there, frame rate.
And then
oh, you know what? The thing I was talking about is 23.98, I guess, because it's right there.
Oh, wait, right where?
Right under. Oh, did you find where frame rate is? It's under format. The top.
Format?
The top thing.
Oh.
Yeah, frame rate. It's
24. Okay.
Yeah, 23.98, I think is what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I forget the philosophy behind it, but yeah, that's a thing.
Okay.
Anyway.
24 frames per second, which is really only used for feature film. Everyone else, for like TV or YouTube, it's 30 frames per second. You can also go 60 frames per second if you wanted to really pay for longer render times, because it means things you have to render like twice as many frames, but it means things are buttery smooth. You won't actually see it right now because I'm recording this tutorial at 30 frames per second. Anyways, really, the options that most people choose are 24 for cinema and feature films, 30 if you're a normal person and you're making things for internet or YouTube or anything, and then 60 if it's for like 3D content or something that has to be really
or like
smooth.
a video, like a video.
Anyways, we're going to set it to 30 because that is the more standard frame rate for most things. I know people like to argue, but yes, 30 is, in my opinion, a much more reasonable frame rate for most things. And the final thing you'll note as we play through this is that it gets to frame 160 and then it just kind of pauses for a bit until it gets to frame 250 and then it loops back. And that is because the end frame is set to 250. So if we set this to
it's right
160 there instead, which is what our
that's
animation ends at, you can see it will now play through and it'll get to the end and then it will loop back to the start. And also if you want to like reset this view in your timeline, you can hit the home key and that'll like expand it out a little bit, and there you go. So that is basically our final animation. You can tweak it, you can make it look a little bit more polished than what I have here, because when I'm recording a tutorial I can only do so much before people get bored, but that's pretty good. It's not bad. So we are nearing the end. Go ahead, click here to join me in what might be the final part, where we're going to do rendering and forming that final animation. So click there, and I will see you there. We've got the
Next
donuts.
part.
We've got the
do
animation.
we want to take a break?
Now.
Do you? It's only 7.
Oh, yeah, it is only 7. Okay, yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
Now it's time to do our final lovely render. So we are rendering using the Cycles rendering engine, which, to jog your memory from the rendering video, the way it works is, turning off denoise, is it starts with a very noisy image with a low sample count, and then over time, you can see in the top left there, it throws more samples at it, and it refines that image to be cleaner and cleaner, essentially. So if we were to set this maximum sample count to a really absurdly low value, like say 10 samples, you could see it renders very quickly.
A lot of noise.
Right? It's done almost instantaneously, but it's so noisy that you can't see any of the detail. Now, there is the magical denoise function, which we will be using. However, that is not... It does solve a lot.
It still looks
definitely
like
helpful.
I feel like I saw
But it's not
artifacting and
perfect,
stuff.
especially for animations, because on each frame, the sample variation, even though it's set to be stable, there will be variances frame to frame. So if you're using a low sample count, this AI denoiser, it will do its best, but it'll still have like splotchy patterns that will appear. And you can actually notice it if you go looking for it. Like the other day, I was watching one of Mr. Beast's videos, and there was like an animation in it, and I was looking at it, and I saw like all this splotchy stuff like on the sides, and I was like, oh damn, that team must be on like a really tight deadline because they did not have time to render out.
I am not surprised whatsoever.
The proper samples. But anyways,
same.
So I did a few tests for this exact scene here. You can see this is with 20 samples. You zoom into the background there, you can see splotchiness. It's especially noticeable in out of focus areas, which I'll show you how to do that out of focusness soon. But you can see it's very splotchy and you wouldn't ever want to use it. 50 starts to look a little more stable, but still the splotchiness is very noticeable. You don't want that. 100, this is where it's starting to look usable, but still not great. I wouldn't consider that good. No. 300 samples is where I consider the bare minimum for a scene like this. But ideally, you would be able to go up to 500 samples, which is where a lot of that splotchiness is so negligible that you don't really notice it. And if you have time or you don't mind rendering, overnight or something like that, or maybe a couple of overnights, 1,000 samples will get you an even cleaner looking result. So for my max sample amount, I'm going to go with 500. And by the way, there is viewport and there is render, and these settings are identical. I was tweaking viewport before because I was showing you in the viewport, but obviously it's what's in the render settings, which is going to be saved into your final animation. There is also noise threshold, also known as adaptive sampling. And the way this works is it will try to look at the image and determine which areas are already clean enough, and then which areas need more samples, like dark areas where there's not enough light or something, and it'll throw more samples specifically into that area. And it's very efficient, and I would love to use it. Unfortunately, it doesn't play well with the denoiser. With the denoiser, it can create splotchy areas, which are not good, obviously. So if you're using the denoiser, which let's face it, is probably 99% of the time, then you can't really use the noise threshold. At least as far as I've seen, I haven't seen it work reliably enough. So uncheck noise threshold. Samples, I went with 500. Try to go, if you're on a laptop, maybe 300, but try to go up from there and you'll get a nice clean result. There's also time limit. I almost never use this, but this just puts like a cap on each frame. So if, I don't know, the samples was gonna take the image to like 25 seconds to render, if you set your time limit to be 20 seconds, it would just stop at whatever sample count 20 seconds gives it, and then it would move on to the next frame. But as I said, I almost never use it. I just want to use the exact sample count. Awesome. Now you might remember previously that when you want to do a render, you go render image, or you hit F12, and then this will kick off a single still render. And then from here, if I wanted to save this image, I would go image save as. Well, what we want to do is we want to render a sequence, like every single frame. And so to do that, we want to use not just render, but render animation. And when you do that, it will use and it will save the file for you in whatever you put in the output settings over here. So if we bring this out over here, you can see your resolutions defined up there. You got your frame rate, yada, yada, the output one here. So this is the folder where it's going to save the file to. And then your file format, I'll just move this up. This is a really important one. Now, you would think that because we want to create a video file, right, that you could upload to Instagram or YouTube or whatever.
He's talking about how you're actually going to output this thing, but I stopped paying attention for like 2 seconds because I looked at chat because Glitch said back in my day we didn't have denoisers.
Yeah, that's new to me too. Okay, I found output. It's underneath render.
I figured it was under render. I just missed it. We need like 4 days to render a Pikachu once. Good times.
I believe it. Yeah. Where do I have space? Fuck. D drive.
Yeah, that's where he's talking about that. And oh, he actually hit the render thing, which I did not do. Render, and wait, what's
render? You go render image, or you hit F12, and then this will kick off a single still render.
Oh yeah, that's
and
what he's talking about.
Here, if I wanted to save this image, I would go image save as. Well, what we want to do is we want to render a sequence, like every single frame.
So animation?
To do that, we want to use not just render, but render animation. And when you do that, it will use and it will save the file for you in whatever you put in the output settings over here. So if we bring this out over here.
Whoops. I thought it was going to have me do the settings after I hit it. It's just doing it. Well, at least it can at least.
Oh, yeah, okay. Are you still there with me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh, I got
I can hear you.
Oh, I was
okay, so rendering kills
the Discord chat. Yeah, I know. I had a moment where I'm like, oh god, I gotta stop this. Oh, it's only doing 100 anyway. You know what? Yeah, no, I am stopping this. Stop. Okay. I didn't change any of my values anyway. Oh wait, yeah, I did. What am I talking about? It was still rendering 100 samples. Oh, that's because that didn't actually change. 500, even though that's going to be a terrible idea right now.
Let's keep it to 300 just for educational purposes.
Sure.
Now, do we actually want to render this now? Or
that
let's
sounds
let
like
him
a terrible idea.
And see if he...
It sounds like a terrible idea, not just because of the video, but because we're streaming too.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of want to see what he's going to do next, though.
This just in, rendering detailed scenes is extremely expensive on your resources. Oh yeah, no, I expected that. Like,
no kidding.
I mean, you've seen how my stream turns into a slideshow every time I switch to render view. Although I was actually, the stream was actually okay when I was like actually properly rendering. It was just the Discord chat that went to shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look here. Output. I do not see output. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm in the wrong thing. Yep. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and then he's talking about choosing what file type. A file extension specifically. Oh
yeah.
That's just what he's talking. He's just talking. This is for people that don't really know how saving files works.
And but also we're kind of saving them as like throwaway. So like, I don't want to do PNGs because they're larger than JPEGs, right? So like,
I think so. I think they're a bit more. You can mess with them more. Well, actually, we're not doing an image anyway. We're doing a movie. We're doing an animation, so it's going to be one of the ones on the right. Probably MPEG, I'm betting. I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be an MPEG. Actually, what's TMP? I forget what TMP. It's in there. It's an option.
I have AVI RAW, and FFmpeg. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, FFmpeg. Oh, hold up. So about that.
Hold up, what?
I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see what he says.
Okay.
It's probably gonna take like 10 minutes because YouTube sucks.
Wait, you're rendering right now?
No.
Oh, well, let him
glitches.
press play.
Yeah, I'm in my chat. It'll come up when it comes up.
Yeah, you can see your resolution.
Oh, wait. For rendering animations, if you set the file format to PNG, it saves every single frame as an... yeah, that sounds about right. It saves every individual frame as a PNG in the output folder for you to cut together in a video editor. Okay. What that yeah, I could see why someone would want to do that. If you set it to a movie,
I remember going through that process vaguely in 3ds Max. It literally does save each fucking frame as an image, and then it turns it into a video.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a scenario where somebody literally wants that to happen. But yeah, good to know the difference.
To find up there, you got your frame rate, yada yada. The output one here. So this is the folder where it's going to save the file to, and then your file format. Just move this up. This is a really important one. Now you would think that because we want to create a video file, right, that you could upload to Instagram or YouTube or whatever, that you would want to use one of these movie settings, maybe an AVI or an FFmpeg.
It's going to tell me I'm wrong?
But you would not. You would be wrong. But it's a common mistake a lot of beginners make. The reason you don't want to ever render a scene directly into this format is that if at any point during the rendering process your computer was to crash, or let's face it, Windows was to do
you know what? Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can never figure out when it's going to do it, and it just does it randomly. And anyways, if it was to do that, you would lose everything. Everything that you have rendered has just vanished.
Yeah, if it renders half the frames individually, you at least have those half of the frames.
So instead, you always render to still images. Okay, so you want every single one of these frames to create a PNG and then put it into the output folder, which you will then
just like, too bad. Oh, he's covering it. Too bad. I said it first.
300 PNG images, let's say, or it's 160 in this case.
He's really going with PNG
that into another process, which I'll show you, to create that final video file. So PNG is actually pretty good for most cases. If you want to go a slightly higher quality, you could use TIFF. If you really know what you're doing, you could use OpenEXR. But the problem with that is that it will not use, it won't embed like a display transform in it. So it'll save it into linear format. Technical jargon just to say it's going to look terrible if you don't know what you're doing with it. So generally speaking, PNG or TIFF is the one you want. Never JPEG. Okay. The compression on that is terrible unless you're just throwing a still image up on Facebook or something. But PNG or TIFF, that's fine. And the color depth, you could go 8 or 16 bits. 16 bits will give you a lot more range, but it will be larger files. Unless you're planning to do color grading and something like After Effects or Nuke or something, I wouldn't bother with 16-bit. 8 should be fine. So you set your output folder to be something that makes sense. I usually just create a folder called frames. And then within here, I just create another subfolder. I call it like 1, just because you almost always need to render.
Okay, yeah, I gotta pick something.
Animations. Frames.
Would the D drive be wise?
1.
D drive is an extremely slow external hard disk drive that I at this point just use for storing videos. So I mean, probably
sounds good. Sounds perfect.
Yeah. Let's see, a new folder. As a graphic designer, JPEG is the worst and should only be used if you intentionally want what you're working on to look like get recorded through a Nintendo DS size camera.
Sold.
Of course I can't make a new folder in this program. I have to go into my file explorer. No, it told me to pound sand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like, no. You're not doing that. You don't have permission. Don't have permissions.
No.
If I was running in administrator mode, it probably would, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to tell. I don't remember how to tell my computer, how to tell Windows that if I open a program, I'm running it as administrator. I have to right click and then select run as administrator every time.
Oh, I used to know off the top of my head how to do that. I think
I probably could Google it if I really felt like it.
Right click the shortcut and going to
Should be like
properties,
preferences or something. Well, no, preferences would be for the program,
But
which I guess you could do that too. But
the shortcut should be fine because you're just opening it as administrator. I
oh,
figured
you're
that the
saying
properties of a shortcut.
you mean like you could put a shortcut on your wallpaper, or not your wallpaper, on your desktop, and
The one
it
that's
would,
already on your desktop.
yeah.
Just right click it and then change the properties.
Oh
of
yeah,
that. I think
yeah.
that's the way it used to be done. I don't know off the top of my head. You could also put like an extension. I forget what they're called. Just /T or /Z. You know, there's certain appended. You can append shortcuts to run with certain parameters.
English said you could go to properties and then compatibility settings.
That sounds familiar.
Well, I know. I thought compatibility settings was for, making an XP program work in not XP, but maybe it's in there too. Maybe they just threw it in there because they felt like it.
There's a lot of options there.
Yeah,
I think that. Yeah.
I'll try it. I'll check that later. You need to confirm this operation. Continue.
You must construct additional pylons.
Oh, you know what it probably is? It's probably because I'm trying to do it in the D drive, and the D drive just has these weird, like, it requires permissions. The D drive is especially weird. I don't know why. D being this external hard drive I'm talking about. I think it's because I formatted it on a different computer.
You probably set it to like. There's.
I bet if I reform.
That sounds familiar too. I've run into that issue.
If I probably took everything out of it on like a cloud storage or something, reformatted it, and threw everything back in, it probably would be okay.
Allow files.
Yeah, it's not worth worrying about right now. I can make the folder.
No.
Under renders. And then do another one.
Properties security, maybe.
There's an egregious amount of UI and panels in Windows that have never been updated since Windows 9. Probably never will, including placeholders. Yeah. I mean, overall, this is probably about the only thing that I find annoying about Windows. Literally everything else, I find everything else about Windows fine, which is why, yeah, you're never going to see me switch to Linux.
I will probably switch to Linux at some point in the future, just because I don't want to deal with.
I just want stuff to work.
It works, yeah. All the shit that I need works now, and I have no need to switch right now.
Yeah. I feel like the biggest excuse is security, and if I'm going to be honest, I should care about security, and I just don't.
It might be nice to have like one Linux machine that I can use where it's like, this is my game development rig, or maybe just a partition on this computer in Linux, and then I do all my shit in it. It's not bogged down by any of the fucking bloatware. And
there's a version of you can do and install a Windows that doesn't have the bloatware. I know that's a thing.
And there's ways to like use you can write batch files to forcibly uninstall and forcibly delete.
Yeah, there are ways to get around it if you really want them gone, but you still want Windows. There's a way to do it.
Well, because like even those cleaner installs aren't really that clean.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, what are we doing next?
I have made the folders, and then I need to go back and then go back into oh, I guess I could have just hit refresh. Whatever.
Oh.
I'm just selecting my desired folder as soon as my brain works. Blender
for the
renders. Donut.
Yeah.
Yep. Accept. All right, let's see what he says after that.
Multiple times, but anyways, you create a subfolder there called 1, and then I just kick off the render by going render animation. But before you do that, it is a good idea to check your scene to make sure that you haven't got any mistakes, because you're going to be rendering, and usually you're rendering overnight.
I wondered about
maybe
that.
A sequence of days, and you don't want to have to go through the whole process of rendering only to bring it up and then go like, oh crap, I forgot to turn on that layer, or I forgot to fix that problem, or I didn't notice this before I did the render, and then you have to do the whole thing all over again. So here's a checklist. First, in solid view mode, click this little drop down next to your viewport overlays and then go face orientation. Now what this is showing you is which faces are facing the correct direction.
It's a drop down arrow right next to show overlays. And then it's fine, I'll click it now too. What was it? Face orientation. It's towards the bottom there.
Okay.
And then everything turns blue and red.
I remember working with this. Yep. Okay.
So the face is the solid part of the mesh, and it's like paper thin, right? But there is a correct direction and there is a wrong direction. So the correct direction is the direction that the camera and the shader expects to see, and it can render correctly. If it's showing you the opposite side of the face, it means that the shading is likely to get screwed up. So if you see anything in your scene that is red, it means that it is facing the wrong direction, okay?
Well, that makes me happy to see that my entire under the table is completely red.
Yeah.
And the wall. Literally
Yeah,
the
I'm seeing a lot of red.
literally the entire box for me. Yeah. And probably you too.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Except for one part of the box. But
Let's see what he says.
Okay, so in this case, it thought that the kitchen should be rendered outside, right? Because it was a cube that we started with, so it puts the faces outside it because it wouldn't know that we want to render inside. So in this case, if you have a red face like this, you select it, select everything on the mesh just by tapping A, and then you want to hit Shift N, okay? Now that should fix it. If it doesn't, because on the case you want to have it facing inwards, like in this case, this little recalculate normals box here, if you click that, you can then click the checkbox that says inside, or a hotkey for it is Control Shift N, and that will do a recalculation inside. Anyway.
Okay. Do that then.
isn't working. Why am I not selecting this? What the fuck?
That didn't fix
What
it.
the hell?
Okay. What did you say before Control Shift N? Most replayed, go figure.
Just select.
Everything on the mesh just by tapping A.
Yeah, A was to select everything, yeah.
And then Shift N.
Oh, Shift N?
Yeah.
It wasn't Control Shift N? He said Control Shift N, but that was after the thing he said first. There was like a thing and he said if that doesn't work, then hit Control Shift N.
Oh, I didn't
And then
hear
you want
that.
to hit Shift N.
No, you were right. Shift N. Okay. Well then why did... Here, A... Shift N... Am I in the right mode? Oh, I'm in object mode, not edit mode. That might be the problem. A... Shift N... Yep, that was the problem. Because then recalculate normals came up. That did fix some things. Oh, because I think I had
My
different...
plate. Oh, there it is.
Shift N... Well, that still didn't fix the walls. Recalculate normals inside. Oh, did that like fix one thing but not another? Shift N. Shift N. Okay. Well, I got it working. Okay. Everything's...
Oh, so one is for inside. Oh, God, it's just still not working.
Shift
What the
N.
fuck?
Are you in object mode or edit mode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh,
I'm in
shoot.
edge select mode.
Actually, my entire donut and stuff got inverted. Shoot. So I'm actually not good.
Cube. How do we... Now I'm not selecting. Oh my gods.
I think my issue is that everything is like... When I hit A, it actually hits A.
I
Oh,
can't
shit.
select anything. Why can't I select anything? What the hell? This doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay. Environment. I literally can't select anything.
That's weird.
Now I've got something. Nothing selected. What?
That almost kind of sounds like the issue I was having last week. Like you're clicking on what appears to be an object, and then the computer is telling you that there's no object selected.
Yeah.
That was...
How did we fix that?
We just deleted it. And made a new object. We never actually figured out how to unscrew that up. Maybe Control Z a bunch. Maybe undo. I don't know. You might have to look at your undo history. I don't know if that fixed it though. I feel like you had me try that, and that didn't. You have every single object in your scene selected. You only needed to select the objects that... Yeah, I know. I'm doing what he told me to do. I select, and then I hit A, and then it's actually selecting everything. I could shift A, except I can't select every single... The plate is the biggest issue. Well, maybe not.
How am I not selecting anything?
Maybe I just do that. And then Shift N. That did it. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I know that was my issue. And it was... Looks like it's fixed now.
Do I have to...
You're supposed to select the red objects in object mode. Not in mode.
Oh.
Then go into edit mode. And then recalculate.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I managed to figure out how to select them in edit mode, so I guess I'm just better.
How did you select them?
Apparently you go to object mode to select them. You select the red objects in object mode, and then go into edit mode, and then recalculate.
We select edit mode, Shift N or Control Shift N. It's not
Shift N is in edit mode.
Yeah,
I figured that out. Yeah, you have all.
Able to select things now, but like not everything.
Still have some red faces in the donuts. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I see it on the plate too.
What is this now?
Maybe.
Backsplash? I thought I deleted that face. Where are you? You.
What about now? Is it better?
Yes.
Object mode, select red objects, edit mode.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Press A to select all vertices and recalculate. Oh, you know what? I didn't have vertices selected either. I don't know if it's a big deal now, but...
I'm not selecting everything. Oh my fucking god. I'm awake. Hello.
Shift N on that.
And there. Okay. Why didn't I figure that out earlier? I have no idea.
Object mode, select edit mode, press A to select all vertices.
Okay, good. This can be red because we don't need that. Perfect. Okay. Plate. Can't actually tell if this plate is working correctly. And there we go. Weird, I have to like rotate the camera around to fix this shit.
Make sure all the verts are selected. Press A again if they aren't. I'm not sure. Oh.
Verts, I'm in face select mode, and that seems to be working for me. Although if I zoom out, it looks like my... Oh, that's the yellow lines. My brain was registering it as red for some reason. Well, whatever. I think I'm finally ready. Yes, I am. Okay. How are you doing?
If you have anything selected, the first time you press A, it will deselect all. So you gotta hit A twice.
That makes
selecting.
So select the object, change to edit mode, hit A to select everything for the object that is selected.
I think it did it.
Oh, let's take a look at what you got going on.
Oh, it definitely... now it flipped everything, so I think... press A until all the verts are orange. I think it did that. He probably realized that. There you go. So,
although,
yeah,
you've got multiple. You've got your.
It was all blue except for like one thing, and now it's all red.
You have multiple things selected. It's strange. I think that's what the issue is, right?
I have the issue now where the cube is flipped from everything else. You know what I mean? So it's like if I keep recalculating normals.
Well, yeah, because...
uncheck inside and select only that blue part. Select only that blue part. Or red part now. Oh, shoot. Wait, the blue part or the red part?
Actually, you could easily fix that in face select mode, I think. Because you could just click on the faces rather than the...
probably.
I think that might be easier right now.
What happens if I hit A? Nope. No. Okay. Only the red part. Yeah, okay. How do you select only the red part? Am I just gonna shift click everything? So far, it sounds like my only options are click everything or shift click things manually.
You're trying to select the cube. The cube is separate from the backsplash and the counter. So with the cube, it looks like everything on the inside is a uniform red. So with just that face selected, you've only got the one face selected. Hit A on your keyboard.
Hold up. New hotkey approaching. Press L while your mouse is over a face vertice. Select the entire individual mesh connected to that face. There you go. Press L.
Cool.
And it links everything.
But that's linking, so let's not use L at this juncture. Let's just use A.
Hold up. I'm gonna wait and see.
Okay,
so
that's
said more.
Huh.
No, he did not. Normal? Material. Delimit selected.
I don't think you need to link anything.
Uncheck deselect. Oh, it's already unchecked.
Oh, that was to check if something was linked. I see.
It's not linking, it's selecting the linked mesh. I think he's saying I'm having an issue. Like he's, watching and it's like it's not doing what it should be doing. Oh, no, he's saying that it's not linking. Oh, I think he's telling you because you thought it was linking. He's saying, and I thought it was linking. It says select linked. I think what he's saying is it's not linking like we think it is. Press L to select the linked mesh, then recalculate. I'm just going to trust that it's doing it, I guess. Oh, well, now it just did the one face.
All right, and then you press L and it selects anything that's linked. And for you, nothing seems to be linked.
I'm telling you, L doesn't link, it just selects connected mesh.
Gotcha. I see it now. Yep. Although, yeah, that's strange.
Delay is going to kill me. He's trying so hard to explain this in a delayed text chat.
Okay, I see what he's saying now. So, you've got your cube selected. You have corrected the normal on one of them. If you just go into face select mode, you select one face and press L. Okay, I see.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Cool.
The problem was that I was left clicking because I thought that's how I like finalized the selection, and that's not the case. That's not what you do.
Oh, Yuki.
That was the problem. Hey,
I was wondering why you kept clicking. Just like, no,
I thought you could. Someone could have told me. You could have told me no.
I was trying to eliminate what the issue is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all normalized.
Yeah.
The normals are normaled.
Normalated.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit the button. I'm gonna hit the play button.
Do it.
Okay. Now that should fix it. If it doesn't, because on the case you want to have it facing inwards, like in this case, this little recalculate normals box here, if you click that, you can then click the checkbox that says inside. Or a hotkey for it is Control-Shift-N, and that will do a recalculation inside. Anyways, long story short, you just want to make sure that everything you see is blue. If you've got anything, a sprinkle or a donut or a plate or anything like that, just make sure everything is showing up as blue because that's very important. All right, so now that's done, I can turn that off.
Mine's not that blue.
That's fine.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, glitch test, normalized normals. I guess,
the other thing that you want to check is that
I got his approval too.
Any rogue objects that will be showing up in the render that you don't want to be there. Like, for example, this weird looking little UFO thing, right? These little sprinkles that are just hovering off into space here. So that is because we've got some sprinkles which are being referenced on our geometry node stack, but we don't want these individual ones which are being referenced to appear it's just because it's render.
It's just confirming, yeah. It's because I have stuff highlighted. That's all. He was just confirming that for me. Okay. This right here that he's talking about, lucky me, I intentionally hid that stuff under the table so that you wouldn't see it.
So on the sprinkles collection, I'm just going to uncheck this little camera icon, and that means it's viewable in the viewport, but it's not going to appear in the render.
Well, that's good to know.
This will not affect the objects over here. When it's referenced in a geometry node system,
I was wondering about that camera.
It's just going to treat that as its own separate thing, and it's not going to hide it from the render. But it just means that these 5 little reference sprinkles will be invisible in the render. The other thing that you want to check is to look at your intersections, okay? Because looking at my donut, look at that. Wow, I've got a massive intersection. And this would be noticeable because the camera is now moving and it is above it, right? I probably have one of those issues. So you don't want to have intersections. So I'm actually going to use this as an excuse to slightly reorient my donuts and create a much more appealing looking stack, because I was experimenting before I hit the record button, and I thought if I just create both of these stacks so they're kind of like leaning on each other, then I rotate them a little bit like this, then I take this donut, I could move it out, rotate that. Yeah, something like this. There we go. Right, and then, oh yeah, I'll rotate this a little bit more. It's a leaning tower of donuts. I'll move that out a little bit. But really, with this many objects on top of each other, you're bound to have something that looks a little funky. So just look at it from different angles. I mean,
my one donut is kind of clipping through the plate just a little bit.
Oh. I don't know if oh shit, what am I doing?
It was actually
I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but I fed the crows today.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a crow call, so I go on my bike ride every day, right? So I grabbed the crow call and I went biking, and I kind of familiarized myself with where the crows are hanging out. And I started cawing at the crows using this crow call, and they started cawing back excitedly. They took off out of the trees and were flying in a flock, like directly above and behind me. And we were just calling and responding back and forth. I dropped a bunch of cat food on the ground for them.
That's cute.
Soon I will be Lord of the Crows.
Okay, I adjusted my donut. I think I'm good.
Okay.
Most important one is the camera, right? Making sure that it is sensible, but because we've got a moving camera, it kind of has to look good from multiple angles. The other thing I noticed also is it would look a lot better if I could see the top of this donut here. So I noticed if I select this stack and I rotate it like this, almost like it's on the edge of that plate there, like the lip, and it's kind of leaning this way, it looks a lot nicer. Yeah, see, now I can see the top of that donut, and yeah, just feels a lot nicer. I'd actually rotate a little bit further, and then I'll move it up, rotate this one. I'll
if
pull
my
that in a
plate
little
was
bit.
that small, I would do that.
And that's pretty good. That's not bad.
It's gonna have the crows.
All right.
Man is gonna have
There.
the crows
So that's a lot
flying
more
him around
interesting,
town
and I've
before
also
long.
corrected a lot of the intersections there. But, you know, as I mentioned before, guys, this is a tutorial, and I can't fix everything whilst I'm running the tutorial. So have a look at your scene, and have a look at, you know, the plate. Is there a donut which is hovering above the plate like it is here? Make sure that it's not, or at least make sure that it is not in a place that's noticeable. Because that will not be good, and you'll be I mean, I actually finished the final animation sequence for this tutorial, and then noticed right at the end that one of the donuts was like this, and I just didn't notice it right until I did after the render sequence was complete. And actually, a coworker of mine was also working on the scene, helping render some extra sequences, and he didn't notice it either. And we were both like, "Damn, how did we miss that?" Because you just don't go looking for it. So I'm calling it out now because I'm sure a lot of you watching have got intersections, and it's good to try to fix it now. Another one to check for is your lighting and your exposure ranges. So first thing I know is that looking at this is good. It's putting a lot of the attention on the donuts, which is great. But this, everything here in the background is just, it's so dark, it's almost hard to see. And it feels a little bit too moody, right? It's almost like a Rembrandt painting or something like that. I want it to feel a little lighter, a little bit more friendly. So on the roof here, on the ceiling of my kitchen, I'm gonna shift and then right click to put my 3D cursor there. And then right at that point, I'm gonna add in an area lamp. And I'm just gonna move it down slightly just to make sure it's not clipping through the surface. Okay. And then, yeah, let's go look in this. So this is what it is with it off. And then if I just increase this.
I just spent like the last 2 minutes trying to fix my camera. I missed all of that. Improve the lighting.
We are going to improve the lighting. We shift right-clicked on the roof to move the cursor there, and then we're going to create a light source, but I did not see what light source it was. So.
Let's just start that section over.
And it's good to try to fix it now. Another one to check for is your lighting and your exposure ranges. So first thing I know is that looking at this is good. It's putting a lot of the attention on the donuts, which is great. But this, everything here in the background is just, it's so dark, it's almost hard to see. And it feels a little bit too moody, right? It's almost like a Rembrandt painting or something like that. I want it to feel a little
that's
lighter,
just like your opinion,
more,
man.
Friendly. So on the roof here, on the ceiling of my kitchen, I'm gonna shift and then right click to put my 3D cursor there. And then right at that point, I'm gonna add in an area lamp. And I'm just gonna move it down slightly just to make sure it's not clipping through the surface. And then, yeah, let's go look in this. So this is what it is with it off. And then if I just increase this, you can see it's just adding a little bit of fill light to the whole scene to just feel a little bit lighter and a little less, extreme in its light choice. But yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, by the way, this power value, there's something called the inverse square law that applies to all lights in the real world and in 3D software. It just means that if something is double, like twice as close to something, it means it's gonna be 4 times as bright. So what this means is that I've just added in an area lamp right at the top of my ceiling, but that's because this is just the size of the box that I've got. If yours is a little bit shorter than this, right, then when you placed it, then this lamp and this lamp energy that we've just defined here as 10 watts is going to be a lot brighter. So don't copy the values that I'm putting here. Have a look at your scene and try to evaluate and go, is it bright enough? Is it too bright? Do I feel that this fill light is too overpowering, right? Or is it underpowering? Just evaluate and try to do it as fairly as you can. And something that I recommend, and this I do a lot of the time for a lot of final renders, is underneath your color management. If you go to view transform, change it from AGX to false color. Now, this obviously you never want to do for a final render, but this is revealing to you what is the exposure range of different parts of the image. Kind of
yeah, I need to
color manage. Okay, so render, color management, color transform. I don't see it. Display device? No. View transform. Is that what he's talking
about? I was still trying to get the light to work.
Oh. I like the light that I added in.
I can't even tell if it added a light or not. I guess if I hide it, maybe.
That's a good point.
Maybe not. I appear to have forgotten where to find the values to change for the light.
Power.
Power? Oh, I mean, I was trying to debate if you were trolling me there or not. Object properties.
Oh, and actually, I think size might work too.
Oh, like actually changing the size? Yeah, I thought that too. But like wattage and stuff, like I can't seem to find that. Here, let me just
like if you're using a camera, transform. A lot of fun. Something that I recommend, and this I evaluate it, is to is a little bit shorter than this, right? Then when you placed it, then this lamp and this lamp energy that we've just defined here is.
Oh, it's under data. Oh yeah, there it is. I doubted that for some reason. Okay, let's see if it's... I don't think it's doing anything. Maybe I have to lower it.
If it's not doing anything, you need to increase the power, I think.
I think it might be
maybe
in the wall. I'm gonna grab a light, bring it down. Yeah, I think it was in the wall, the ceiling, whatever. It's probably gonna do something now. Oh yeah, yep, now it's doing a thing.
Here. There. Okay. Oh, I'll try this again.
I'm not really picky on it, if I'm being honest.
That's my little render, little mini render. I don't really detect a difference.
I do now that I moved it down.
I keep adding power. I keep adding digits to the wattage and the power, but I'm not really seeing a difference.
You gotta like really crank it. I noticed like
What
he says
source
10
at?
watts. Mine's at 114 before I started to notice something.
Okay.
Like I guarantee you, if you
I
put
don't.
it to like
I
300.
got up to like 100,000.
Oh, well then.
Yeah, I'm
Are you sure
not noticing
yours?
shit.
You sure yours is not in the ceiling?
Maybe I'm
just bring it down.
What viewport are you, or view are you in? I should say.
Object mode,
Oh,
layout. Like literally, grab your object.
You're using viewport shading, yeah.
I'm actually in. Yeah, I'm in rendered right now. Yeah, I think you have to be in rendered to notice.
Yep, that's what I'm at.
Grab your area light. Just make sure it's.
Yeah.
Like, do you see the square?
Yeah.
Outlining it? Well, then it probably isn't in the ceiling. That being said, if you dragged it down anyway, you probably still would notice a difference. You know, just hit.
Like I can turn off and on, and it's not really having any effect on the scene at all. No, just bring it down as close as I can.
Yeah, just hit G and then Z. Z-axis. And just bring it down. That's what I had to do that because my light literally was clipped into the ceiling, so there was no light coming through because the light was literally in a wall.
Why is this not letting me? Okay, this stupid thing. All right, area 1, get the fuck over here. Holy shit, move your ass. All right, dropping this shit down.
Should probably move it to a different collection too.
There. Okay, now I'm finally seeing something.
Yeah, you had the same issue I did.
There. Oh. I had already dragged it down so far. I didn't know I needed to like throw it right on the fucking object.
You gotta like literally keep doing it until you see the outline of the light. Because I couldn't see it when it was above the ceiling. And then once I pulled it down enough that it was under the ceiling, then I could see it. It's kind of weird how like the light object is invisible. I don't actually see a light, you know, like I would in the real world.
Oh.
I don't see a panel of light in a square.
Disembodied light source just illuminating the area but not existing.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, next. Oh, it's checking the exposure. Actually, like, really do need to know, like, camera theory and color theory. Yeah. Like, it's just crazy to me that you actually need to know these, like, real life things in order for this to work. That is how lighting basically always is.
It's made intentionally, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's how lighting basically always is in 3D.
You just have to throw the... Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, you know, to be fair, I guess technically you don't... I mean, it's all digital. You don't actually need a physical light like you do in the real world. So, I mean, I guess technically it makes sense why you could have light without an actual object emitting light. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, just data.
Yeah.
It's just weird that you have to throw the fucking light sources like literally on top of all your shit.
Yeah.
Just 10 watts, it's going to be a lot brighter. So don't copy the values that I'm putting here. Have a look at your scene and try to evaluate and go, is it bright enough? Is it too bright? Do I feel that this fill light is too overpowering?
Yeah, just go with what you feel, man.
Or is it underpowering? Just evaluate and try to do it as fairly as you can. And something that I recommend, and this I do a lot of the time for a lot of final renders, is underneath your color management. If you go to view transform, change it from AGX to false color. Now, this obviously you never want to do for a final render, but this is revealing to you what is the exposure range of different parts of the image. Kind of like if you use
color management.
So you go to render, color management.
Use curves. I like curves.
View transform.
View transform.
Change that from AGX to false color.
Oh. Oh yeah, okay.
Using a camera and it's got like a zebra thing to like show you which parts are clipping. This is like that, but it's like to an advanced level. Essentially, it's showing you, I'll put this up from the Blender documentation, but it's showing you what is the exposure range of which parts of the image. And there's no like right or wrong here, but generally speaking, you want to have a nice range because then it's showing there are parts that are in light and then there are parts that are in shadows, and there is a range there so that you can reveal the form. There are exceptions to it, but generally that's the idea. Now, in my case, I want to make sure that really there's very few areas that are in the red or the white. The white means there is actually no information there because it has clipped. So that is not good. It's okay for a few areas, right, where there's a few highlights, but generally speaking, you don't want too much. Now, in my case, I think it's a little bit too high, so I'm just dialing it back. And just so that I get most of, you know, the part of the donut where it's hitting the light, it's mostly in the orange to yellow range with a very small amounts of, red or white coming through. So once you're happy with that, make sure you change it back to AGX, otherwise you'll be rendering to false color and that will look horrible. A few other aesthetic choices. I noticed that the pink was a little bit too hot. The saturation does make a difference. So I'm just gonna dial it back to around about a 0.6 value. I also noticed that this yellow color was a little bit too close to mustard. So I'm just gonna tweak the hue here just to make it a little bit more exciting, kind of like a banana yellow, right? And a little bit brighter as well. Donut. Just a little bit more cheerful. The blue I'm gonna make a little closer to an aqua, which is a little more funky, a little.
I feel like this guy's never had a birthday.
At least to me. The base color, oh yeah, this one here. So I decided after looking at this and evaluating it, I'm like,
I know what
just go with
donuts look like. No, I'm being mean. I don't mean
my
that.
final render. So just creating a new material, call it white icing.
Oh, that's what you meant.
And also for the donut, I noticed I forgot to put subsurface scattering on the donut itself, because donut, although it's bread, right, it's not going to have as much subsurface scattering as the icing, but it will have some, right? So I'm going to give it a weight of 1. Radius, make sure that's always set to 1, and then this value here, let's go 0.01, like that, which I think is actually more than the icing that we gave it. But anyways, it works because it's kind of doughy. We can kind of get away. Maybe I'm having second thoughts right now. We'll go 0.01. Why not? Make it look a little bit more stylized and cartoonish. The other thing that I can see looking at this is that this part here, right, with these ball sprinkles on it, it's very like high frequency detail, which is just like a technical term to mean like small detail. Like artists always invent terms just to sound smarter than they are, but it looks high frequency, right? And it's a little too high frequency. It's good to have some small detail, but not that small. It's just it's kind of gritty and it's kind of like.
I just want to make sure I am getting the subsurface scattering on the donuts. How did we do that again?
Do what? Oh, yeah.
Subsurface scattering. What was that again? Is that in material? A subsurface
scattering as the icing, but it will have some. Right. So I'm going to give it a weight of 1. Radius.
Where did he put that?
Subsurface. Oh,
I think he went into it like right before.
Surface.
Here, let's go back a bit more.
After
subsurface. There it is.
Looking at this,
and then.
I honestly think it's fine on mine.
I just don't know what to do to change it. I'm not sure what I'm doing here.
Here, okay.
How do you change the subsurface scattering? He was about to talk about it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And evaluating it, I'm like, I should just go with the white icing, like what I had in my my final render. So just creating a new material, call it white icing, right? And also for the donut, I noticed I forgot to put subsurface scattering on the donut itself, because donut, although it's bread, right, it's not going to have as much subsurface scattering as the icing, but it will have some, right? So I'm going to give it a weight of 1, radius, make sure that's always set to 1, and then this value here, let's go 0.01, like that, which I think is actually more than the icing that we gave.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But anyways, it works because it's kind of doughy. We can kind of get away. Maybe I'm having second thoughts right now. We'll go 0.01. Why not? Make it look a little bit more stylized and cartoonish. The other thing that I can see looking at this is that this part here, right, with these ball sprinkles on it, it's very like high frequency detail, which is just like a technical term to mean like small detail. Artists always invent terms just to sound smarter than they are, but it looks high frequency, right? And it's a little too high frequency. It's good to have some small detail, but not that small. It's just, it's kind of gritty, and it's kind of like, it's sticking out like a sore thumb to me. So what I'm gonna do is go to my geometry node setup just for my round sprinkles here. And by the way, also make sure you're looking at the correct one, not long sprinkles. Uncheck that little pin if you've got it like I did. And then I'm gonna change the round sprinkles scale, dragging down to 1.5. So it's a lot bigger, which means I can use a different distance min value, 0.002. And whilst I'm here,
I'm a little behind. What did he select? Oh, it's all loading. What? I'm sorry. I'm.
So you went to geometry
lost
nodes.
Now he's in geometry nodes.
Yep. I wasn't gonna bother.
And he wanted to. Select the round sprinkle.
Yeah. Make sure that you don't have long sprinkles selected. There was like a pin you have to uncheck.
All right, let's start over.
I'm here. And by the way, also make sure it's
Are
sticking
you
out like
in,
a sore thumb to me.
Are you in geometry nodes and you have the icing selected?
Icing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually. Well, because I just clicked on one of the icings, and and then it brought up the nodes.
Oh.
And then if it says long sprinkles, unpin it from the right. Wait. Oh wait, hold up.
Long sprinkle.
That's not doing that.
No pins on the right.
Okay. Well, you know what? On second thought, on the left, just there's a drop-down menu. Just select short sprinkles. I don't know why he mentioned the pin thing.
I did not name these. Uh-oh.
Whoops.
Round sprinkle. This is round sprinkle. What am I doing?
Let's find out.
What value?
So what I'm going to do is go to my geometry node setup.
Oh, except
just
I went
for
back.
My round sprinkle. Change the uncheck that little pin if you've got it, like I did. And then I'm going to change the round sprinkle scale, dragging down to 1.5. So it's a lot bigger, which means I can use a different distance min value, 0.002.
What is he talking about?
The instance.
I gotta look at my shit while he's talking, but he's not describing where I'm supposed to be working.
Instance on points. Find the one that says instance on points. It's right after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scale. I got that.
Scale. Hold left click and drag down to select all of them.
Okay.
And then he changed it to 1.5.
All right.
And then he's gonna say, I'll just let him do it again.
Here, I'm also going to change the distance value for the long sprinkles, because I noticed it was feeling a little too even, the distribution of these, which generally means that with this Poisson disk distribution, it's using the distance to make sure that they're all perfectly evenly spaced, and it's a...
Hold up. I thought he...
Even, the distance 0.2, I can use a digging down to 1...
Distance minimum in Poisson disk. That's what he changed.
Okay, what is
So
what
since
did
you changed the scale of the short sprinkles, you would also want to change the distance in the Poisson disc thing.
What did he change it to?
I think he changed it to 0.02.
0.5. So it's a lot bigger, which means I can use a different distance min value.
Yeah, he changed the 1 to a 2.
Okay. Oh. That's a lot less sprinkles.
Yeah, that's what he wanted because it was very noisy and messy just having that many.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
0.002. And whilst I'm here, I'm also going to change the distance value for the long sprinkles because I noticed it was feeling a little too even, the distribution of these, which generally means that with this Poisson disc distribution, it's using the distance to make sure that they're all perfectly evenly spaced, and it's a little bit, it's too big, essentially. So I'm going to set this to 0.004 instead, which means you will have some overlaps and some clipping, but if we use a lower count here in our setup, like 80, for example, or even lower, right? It should feel a lot more natural, right? It doesn't look like before it was like 200 when it was, this was 0.006, and now it's like 30, but it still almost feels like the same as what it was before because that distance, when you lower it, you're getting more sprinkles in there, even though it's a lower sprinkle.
Okay. I'm gonna double check this now. I'm assuming that's all he's doing in here. Because we only had the 2 kinds of nodes, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mine doesn't. Well, yeah, I guess like you said, it doesn't look different.
Oh, I can manually change. Oh, this is really cool. Hold on. Ha. You can be sprinkles. Dots, and then sprinkles, dots, sprinkles, dots. Okay, cool.
Okay. What's next? Well, he's still improving the sprinkles, I guess. I guess there's more to that than I thought there would be.
Density. Anyways.
Unless he's just going to talk.
Also lower this one because that's just too many. So let's go like 50 for that.
Oh.
And that's pretty good. You can also experiment. Like I tried changing the different, like whether this one has long sprinkles or whether this one at the top has round. You can play around with these. I went, I think the bottom one I gave long. This one, I'm going to turn it off. So no sprinkles on that one. And just try and get a nice, feel for it. You're just trying to go for something that looks a little balanced in its detail. So you don't have too much repetition across it. So I'm trying to get a nice breakup of like round, long, none, round, etc. The other thing, since we're talking about detail, is looking at this, right? This is small detail. This is small detail. These shapes here, right? This is large detail. Okay, so we've got large and we've got this small detail. We don't have any medium detail. And it's good to have a variance across the scene. Just, I don't know, it's one of the design rules. It just helps things feel a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So something I saw when I was looking on Pinterest many years ago for one of the old donut series was like, you can put bigger sprinkles, like a few big chunky sprinkles on it. And it just adds variance to it and it just makes it look a lot more appealing. So for that, you could do it using geometry nodes, but I just do it by hand placing like 3 sprinkles. So on this donut here, shift right clicking on this part of the donut. I'll go into, here we go, solid view mode, and then shift A, and then I'm gonna add in a UV sphere. Default settings are okay. I'm just gonna scale it down like that, right? So this is the size of the sprinkle, quite big. You could imagine it almost as like a gumball or something. It's probably not big enough to be a gumball, but you know what I mean, like something big, right? Make sure you're using shade smooth. And for the material, sorry if this is like getting too in the weeds, but a lot of people when they're following tutorials, they like to know the exact settings that I used. So I'm trying to show them all whilst Not taking too long. But yeah, there we go. So I go for like a aqua color. Yeah, like that. And then I want to turn the roughness like all the way down like that. Cool. And now I just need to duplicate that sprinkle. So duplicate here. And I'll pull it out. And I'm just going to go with 3. You could go for more, but I'm just going to go with 3. And I'm only going to put it on this donut. I'm not going to bother with the others. I'm going to say this is the special one. This is the one that we want your eye to be drawn to. So this is the one with a little bit more detail than the others. I'm sorry if I'm doing a horrible zigzaggy job of... I could do snapping, but I'm like, it's just too much work to do the snapping functions for this. So I'm going to select those 3, Shift select the icing, Control P, and then go keep transform. There we go. So now they're all attached to that. Just in case I move the donut, it's correctly done. The final thing I think I changed was the world settings underneath the air and dust for our sky texture. I just dialed it back to around about a 0.7, just a little bit cooler in the lighting, right? As I might remember, I told you, if you go all the way there, it's like the sky just becomes like blue. And if it's too far up, then it becomes yellow and orange or whatever, like kind of too decayed. But, you know, like a 0.7-ish, it just feels a little cleaner in comparison to what it was. Awesome. Now we're almost there. I promise you, we're almost there. The one thing that you probably do want to know how to add is depth of field. It adds a lot because every single camera in the real world has depth of field, except for pinhole cameras, interestingly, because there is no optics in a pinhole camera. So it can have like infinite depth of field, supposedly. Anyways, the depth of field settings is underneath your camera. Okay, so select your camera, then click on the data here, and then depth of field right at the bottom.
Oh, wait, can we pause that real quick?
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I'm still working on something. I want to add more gold in. White sprinkles.
I get the point he was trying to make with the big sprinkles. I just didn't really like that, so I didn't feel like doing that. Like noted, but me personally, I just let him talk. I just didn't do it. I didn't really like the idea of just having 3 big random sprinkles that, like, I mean, yeah, you could imagine somebody just literally taking them and just plopping them on there, but
I could have sworn we had a gold material that we made the sprinkles out of. Was that?
I feel like that was the thing too, yes. That would be under the icing, the sprinkles. Where would that be? Yeah.
Is that in
material? I just have the one material. Oh, I gotta find the sprinkle, not the icing for that.
Geometry nodes, maybe?
So under sprinkles?
Oh, it is geometry nodes, isn't it?
Maybe it was.
It's. I think it is.
Because I don't see anything for material. Material is just a white blank thing. I think, yeah, because you're right. You probably use the nodes to adjust the materials value. The value of the material in question is what I mean to say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
I remembered how we did.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember too. I think it might have been under object info. No.
Wait, it's coming back to me. Hold on.
I'm just looking at all these.
Shading.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So we did it in shading. We had a color ramp, and we just made it shiny. Okay, that's simple enough. I just wanted to have these nice big gold and pearl sprinkled, big fat spheres of gold on my donuts. That's all.
Okay.
No idea. See, this is in shading. I should be able to apply it to that sphere. think. Oh gods. No, I'll just do it on its own.
Yeah, the way he did it was just the basic way. Just adding a material onto the object. Yeah, I get it. You wanted the gold. I think the gold was part of a node. So you'd have, yeah. I think it's not as, it might not be as easy as you want it to be. You probably have to do something completely different than what you want to do. I don't think you could just plop that node onto a sprinkle.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. All right, I'll just make it real quick and dirty.
Yeah. Dirty gold.
It's like metallic was maximum, roughness was minimum. There, gold. Gold enough.
Okay.
And then duplicate.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how do you keep it on the surface? Oh, control. Perfect. Yes, duplicate object. Why does it not want to duplicate now? It select an object and hit Control D, right?
I think it's Shift D.
Shift D. Oh my god. We'll put this here. There. Cool. I did it.
All right.
Let's save.
Still adding depth of field.
Depth of field. Okay.
Oh,
that's
shoot.
What are...
How do you do that again? Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. Click the camera.
Okay.
And then,
clicking.
And then click on the data.
Data. Okay. The green camera data.
And then.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one called depth of field towards the bottom. It's actually the second to last thing. You just.
In custom properties or.
No, right above.
Oh,
that.
no, there it is. There it is. I see.
Yeah.
He depth of field on, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and then he was about to get into whatever he was going to do.
Cool. Perfect.
Oh, he also, where it says aperture, he has that brought down. That thing that I was looking at earlier.
Okay.
Okay.
Everything will become blurry because it doesn't have a focus object yet.
Oh, wait, what? Where? Oh, I'm not even in the camera. That would probably help. Yeah, okay. And then let's bring it to the last frame. So everything's going to be blurry. There's the camera. There's the camera. It's indeed blurry.
So click the little eyedropper tool and then just click on this icing, this pink donut icing right in the front here. And there you go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then that just tells it that object right in the front. That's the focal point.
Yeah, and then autofocus is on that object.
That's easy. I'm sure there's more he's going to say, but...
So that is depth of field. It used to be really difficult to do in Blender. I started 20 years ago, and it was this horrible motion blur thing you had to do for the camera to rotate it. Anyway, it's just a checkbox.
Oh, awesome.
It's fascinating. Anyways, the f-stop, if you're unfamiliar with cameras, the lower the f-stop, the shallower that depth of field. So you can see very little of this image is actually in focus. So it's actually good for miniatures. But if you want more of the scene to be in focus, you want more of this donut stack to be seen, I would go with an f-stop somewhere between 6 or 8, something around the range. I think I went with 8 for my final one, or maybe it was 6. Can't remember. Anyways, but you can see the stuff in the background there is now out of focus, and it puts the attention where it should be, right on those donuts in the middle there. And the other thing that I always forget to enable is motion blur. So underneath your render settings here, you just need to check motion blur. And I actually find the
Literally
default
just
setting
check it.
is usually fine.
Okay.
It's a little smooth, like it's a little bit too blurry sometimes, so you might want to drop it to like 0.4 or something. But I don't know, it should be defined with the default. It usually looks okay. So, are we ready to render our final animation?
Not on camera.
I actually thought,
Oh, boy.
yes. So that little jump cut that you saw there was me going, yeah, let's render that animation. And then I rendered it out, and then I came back and I went, wait a minute. I've made some errors. Bum, bum. Now, can you tell what they are? I will give you a clue.
Fuck no.
No.
Right here, right here, right here. We're missing those 3 little balls that we created, little sprinkles. And then also, look in the background here. Mysteriously dark, almost as if the area lamp that we added is not there. So I'll first of all say, it's very common to do this. You think that you're finally ready, like, yeah, everything looks good, kick off the final animation. I've sometimes waited like over a week for a whole animation to finish, and then I come back and then I open it up, and then I go, oh no, I forgot to turn off that layer. I forgot to turn on that layer. I forgot, you know. Actually, a technique that Pixar uses, I learned at one of the SIGGRAPH presentations they did. They said they render the first frame, the middle frame, and the end frame of every shot before they do the full animation sequence, because that usually reveals any problems in the animation, which they can then correct. So I should have done that, but didn't. Anyways, what was my mistake? Well, when we disabled this sprinkles collection, right? We disabled it from appearing in the render. That's fine. But when we created these objects, I didn't check what was the active collection.
Oh,
so
yeah.
when you add a new object, it adds it to whatever is
I keep accidentally putting
selected
things in the
collection.
donut
It's the
collection.
with the little box around it. So obviously, it put it inside of that collection. So these spheres should not be inside the sprinkles. So I'm going to drag it out into a donuts collection, which is where it should be. And then this area lamp as well. That's the reason that the background is dark, is because that was inside the sprinkle, so it was hidden from the render as well. So now putting that into the environment, that now should look a lot better. So do a test render just by hitting F12, see how that looks first, what I should have done. I mean, even just doing one render could have revealed this problem. It's that obvious. But do a test render, check, look, we've got the balls appearing, the fill light is now in the background. And the other thing I noticed, and this is because it's the next day that I'm recording this, when you look at something with fresh eyes, you often notice different things. So I thought that this exposure looked pretty good, but then now having a look at it the next day, I can see that it's a little overexposed. Okay, so if you look at the false color, this is what it looks like, and there's just too much orange there. So essentially I'm going to drop this back to be, so it's like mostly yellow across the front of these donuts here. Well, not mostly yellow, but more yellow than what there was before. There's not really an exact way to sort of pinpoint it, but I could just tell it's a little overexposed. So I'm just dialing it back to be a little more reasonable. Again, your exposure ranges might be different depending on, you know, how close your donuts are to the window or something, but look at it with your own eyes, and if it looks wrong when you're using this exposure range, use a different value, tweak it, and try to make it look accurate. Because actually I was on Discord this morning looking at some of your renders. Join the Discord if you're not on there. And I was like, okay, a lot of people also have overexposed renders, so I should bring that up. Anyway, we are now finally ready to do a render. So again, I am using no noise threshold, 500 samples, probably get that up to 1,000 if you want it to be non-jittery, denoise, open image denoise, and then I'm outputting it to TIFFs, just RGB, we don't need alpha, 8-bit, and then I'm just putting it into a folder, which, because I made a mistake, I'm going to put it into another folder. I actually made 2 mistakes, rendered it twice. I'll put it into a 3, right? That's why I put them in subfolders. Anyways, now that I'm ready, I'm going to go render animation. And this is now kicking it off. I can now leave it, walk away, and it will just start, as it finishes rendering, it'll just start dumping it into the folder. And there you go. So you can see it's rendered 3 frames. So we've got 3 images here. Once it's finished, we should have 160 TIFF files inside this folder, which you will have to watch the final part of this tutorial to learn how to take that sequence and form a video file that you can use and send, etc. So click here to watch the final part of this.
Well, that means we gotta render it. And I honestly do not want to render it on camera. That's gonna take forever.
We might have. Yeah, it's tough to say exactly like how long that would take.
Yeah. It's gonna be completely different for both of us.
Yeah. We could render it and then go on break, or we could.
We can try.
Yeah, it could take a long time, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with this being a shorter thing. Because, well, we could, I mean, I guess we could at least just, watch the last video so we at least learn. And then we'll just have to do it on our own. And then maybe we can show each other later.
Or what we could do is we could make an animation with the sampling down to like 100, and then we have like really shitty animations.
Yeah. That would go way faster. I know. Part of me is like, because then I'm probably just going to be rendering it twice. Because I want to look at it good too.
Yeah, exactly. And we can do that off stream.
Yeah. Yeah, probably just.
I will test to see how shitty.
Yeah, I'm more worried about you than me, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here it's going.
Well, at the same time, my streaming Discord is gonna get freaking annihilated. Just because of whatever settings I have.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm at 17 of 100. With like a 100 sampling.
That's for one frame though, isn't it?
Yes. 29 of 100.
Oh, right. Well, multiply that by 160.
41 of 100. Okay, so that might be like a 30-minute render.
It's more like 41 out of like 1600.
Yeah.
Or 16,000.
Okay.
It's gonna.
I'm gonna kill it. I'm just gonna kill it.
Yeah,
kill the render.
Even a simple render like that's still gonna take probably like forever. I don't even know.
Yeah. Blender.
That's why they have these things just go overnight.
Yes, that's very true. Okay, so no rendering today.
Yeah, it's just kind of what it is, but it also feels dumb to like come back next week and then just watch one last 10-minute video. I don't know.
We can do it as homework.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to finish it on our own.
Because it's like I'm kind of done with donuts, and like if I want to get more complicated like animation shit, like I can look further into that. I don't think we need to really delve too deeply into it now.
Yeah.
You know? So it's pretty accessible. Why don't we go on break and we can figure out what we do, or we could end the stream, but
I feel we could just end it. It's okay.
Okay. All right. We'll do that then.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out what we do for next week or
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do that then. Nice short stream.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining me, lovelies. I will see you later. Jenny.